Good morning, team. So I was listening to a lecture while I was walking this morning, and the title of his lecture was Managing the Middle. And if you recall, a couple days ago, maybe it was even last week, I shared a sermon from Pastor Stephen Furtick where he spelled dream in a different way than I spell dream. The word for M was middle. And so I want to talk about that. I think I even did a post about this like back in March when the quarantine was new. And it's a good reminder. My kind of motivational lectures aren't exactly like, yay, everything's great. It's definitely more about what to do when you don't want to do what it is that you said you were going to do, or you don't know what to be doing, or you're in the middle of a journey. So obviously this group is about health and wellness and weight loss, but this concept could be applied to a zillion things. Think about people going through high school or college. Either you have a child who is there and is managing some kind of weird virtual situation. You maybe just graduated a child from high school virtually with like a drive-by balloons parade. The point is that you can be excited at the beginning and you can visualize how you think you want the journey to go. And then you can celebrate at the end, or you could be disappointed at the end. But what we never talk about is what goes on in the middle. So, this idea from like high school, most people have been there and have experienced that. And, when you're in your first day, you're walking into school for the first day, it's like you're nervous but excited. And when you're finished, you're probably nervous and excited. But in the middle, probably had some sucky points. The same with a weight loss journey, the same with a project at work, the same with life. Just like life as a whole spectrum. Everyone's new and fresh and cute when they're a little baby, and the end can be not that pretty. And what do you do in the middle that makes it worth celebrating life at the end? So in the context of this group, just to stay in my lane, we're sort of in the middle third now of June. In the beginning, we do all this motivational deep dive into like what's inspiring you to do the thing that you say you're going to do. If you're following the habit cycle, we're talking about portion control, or even just visualizing what portions are and tracking that. Maybe you're taking your vitamins, maybe you're drinking more water, maybe your husband walks in the middle of a live video.
All right.
That's Craig. Maybe you're doing all of these things and it feels like today doesn't need to be important, or it just feels icky. The weather's not as great today, so you're not going to walk outside, maybe whatever the excuse that kind of pops in that makes it really easy to be like, not today. That's where we have to like draw on the tools, right? So you go to the units in this group, there are a zillion tools I've put there. If you're on the app, there's other stuff there. You have resources like human support named Sarah, or your neighbor, or your spouse, or your children. I don't know how children would help you, but I know some children who are pretty helpful and inquisitive and ask curious questions that might make you stop and think and manage the moment, right? So for example, and this sometimes isn't like big stuff, right? Actually, most of the time, it's really tiny, tiny things. One of the most monumental changes that we teach as Precision Nutrition as a body of coaches, but also in Accelerate Academy, is just eating slowly, which is like not that easy. You really have to be present and thoughtful about that to slow down the cadence and the rhythm of how quickly you put food in your mouth and how long you chew it, and what that does to your digestion and what that can do to your waistline. And that's what I'm talking about, managing the middle. You know, so like on the first of the month, you're like, I'm gonna eat slowly for every meal. And here's why that's important. And I've done all the work to figure out why that's important. And then, you know, you're good for like 3-4 days, and then maybe you forget for a day, and then you do it again, and then maybe you forget for a meal because there's a bunch of people and it's crazy. Take a breath. Step back, start again. You can always choose to start again. Just because one meal might not go the way that you thought it was going to go doesn't mean we have to scrap the whole plan. And this is where managing the middle becomes important, because that is where we can minimize or eliminate the feeling like you're starting over again and again and again. And that like hamster wheel of self-destruction, frankly. I know probably some of you know what I'm talking about. So there are a ton of ways to peel back this onion. If you need help sorting it out, you know, as a sideline example, one of my best friends grew her business during the shutdown. And now she's open again for like the first 3 days, and it's crazy. And she feels a little bit overwhelmed. And so we were talking about, you know, just pick one thing, do the one thing, don't do anything else until the one thing is done. She is managing the middle, right? Today is Thursday, the middle of the week. The middle of her first week, legally being allowed to open her doors again. And coming out of that alive, coming out of that with joy that we could be there, that she could be open again, and having the middle management, the mindset to understand that like, okay, this is a little awkward. Maybe we could rearrange this. I need a system here. This is a little new. This whole other system that we put into place is new. We're still working out the kinks. Thanks for your patience. You know, like understanding the big picture and not letting it sink the boat. So, friends, whatever you need to manage that, I am here for you. If you're watching this video, that must mean that there is something that you're working on, that you, maybe just these videos are enough. That's totally cool. Hit me a thumbs up and let me know. And if there's more that you want to work on that I'm not talking about, maybe it's sleep, maybe it's something else completely unrelated, like with running a business or managing children or something. Lots of experience managing old people too. We could talk about that. Find me. Okay, I'm gonna have 25 hours in the car next week. We can talk on the phone. Please entertain me. All right. Actually, I have 50 hours in the car next week. That's only one way. It's 25 hours. I'm gonna go pour myself a cocktail now that I just did that math. Okay, y'all have a great day. I'm here for you. I'll talk to you soon.